Aston Villa were beginning to show signs of a renaissance under manager David O'Leary, and the villains weren't about to make life easy. They went into the break a goal up thanks to Gareth Barry's speculative 30-yarder, which somehow found the back of the net. But United hit back in the second half, Ryan Giggs presenting Paul Scholes with the chance to level it. And the England midfielder was again on hand to convert Ronaldo's perfectly paced cross for the winner. The last time Northampton Town drew Manchester United in the Cup, they suffered an 8-2 humiliation when George Best scored 6. Would history be repeated in round 4?
Northampton are camped very, very deep here. No pressure at all on John O'Shea. Time to measure the cross. Fell for Ronaldo. Oh, it might have gone in, and it will do! And it may well be claimed by Mikhail Silvestre.
The third division side made life tough, but another goal was only a matter of time.
It's gone in now, though! And surely that's curtains for Northampton. Goals wide to O'Shea. Another goal for United will make this a decent day's work. And they've got it! And Diego Forlan grabs a goal at last. His drought is over.
Manchester City hadn't won at Old Trafford in almost 30 years, but City arrived for round 5 full of confidence after coming back from 3 goals down to win at Tottenham.
Here's Van Nistelrooy. Terrific movement from the Dutchman. Ryan Giggs. And Scholes is in there. It's a fabulous United goal. Ronaldo to bend it in. And it's in at the far post from Ruud Van Nistelrooy. It's fortune now. Just ghosting away from Sibierski. Van Nistelrooy was in the middle. Oh, tremendous save. But finally in, is it? Yes, from Ronaldo. United on the back foot again. It's done. Up to Stan. Oh, another chance, and this time it is in from Michael Tarnat. It's Keane, and finally in by Van Nistelrooy. No Royal fancy his chances of claiming another one, but it's Fowler, and he has caught out Tim Howard. Such quick thinking then by Fowler for 2.
The quarter-finals saw United drawn at home again against Premier League opposition. With Fulham coach Chris Coleman in hospital, Steve Keane would pit his wits against Sir Alex Ferguson.
Pressure here from McBride. He's kept it alive too. There's Vermorte. With the rash challenge by Brown, and that is a penalty. Well, Brock scores. Ryan Giggs hoping to prove otherwise. It's Van Nistelrooy. Fletcher. Another excellent ball by him to Ronaldo. And look at Van Nistelrooy in the middle if he can find him. And he has. That's the service that he thrives on.
United couldn't have drawn more formidable opponents in the semi. Arsenal were on track for an historic treble and a 3rd FA Cup success in as many years.
Gary Neville. What a good ball that is as well. It's Ryan Giggs. Ball back for Scholes. And Manchester United take the lead on 31 minutes. Such a well-worked goal.
Falling short in the race for the Premiership and in Europe, United have a last chance to salvage something from a disappointing season. They haven't finished a campaign without a trophy since 1989. Failing in Cardiff would be unthinkable.
Beckham on the bench, let's not make any bones about it. He was brilliant, I mean, in that period. So much so that Ferguson couldn't justify dropping him.
No, we're just seeing some of the colour at the Millennium Stadium.
Isn't that the man of the match?
I think it's the... Well, it's somebody of the match, that's for sure. OK. The young lady, and I don't know who it is, I do beg your pardon, has got a tremendous voice, I believe, and she's... wearing a lovely dress, and she will be singing Abide With Me. Okay, tears in the eyes of many of the fans at the Millennium. That is one of the most sentimental of occasions in world sport every year. And there are the Millwall fans. It's their big moment, and they should enjoy it. I guess while they can, Tommy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go the other way. I think Mr. Neville is going to make one of his classic back passes in the 5th minute. There's going to be a goal scored against Man United.
They played a bide with me.
Game.
They played a bide with me when the Titanic went down. I think they played a bide with me tonight when Millwall are going down.
Could be Man United, Tommy. Could be Man United. But Craig, I don't think we got there with you. Will it be a high scoring? I gather you're tipping Man United. Am I right?
Well, I have to. Yeah.
But will it be a romp or not?
Well, it's possible. I mean, it's as possible as any game in
I've
the
never
last
seen a romp.
number
I've
of
seen
years.
a lot of so-called one-sided cup finals
Sure.
where they're with these kind of odds.
Yeah.
But I've never seen a romp.
Well, I think the main point to me has been that Millwall have got to this point without facing a premiership side. And so they're coming up, against one of the top 3 sides and the best of recent years, or certainly the last decade. And it is, in that sense, an enormous jump. If you're going to come up against the side, you wouldn't pick Man United and you wouldn't pick them the first time in the season on this date. But Millwall always have a chance. We know in football that the underdogs quite often, and as I said before, when you just sit in and defend, anything can happen. And if they're unable to break them down early, they can get frustrated. Just a point to make about Millwall, of course, let's not forget that it is a club with great Australian connections. Of course, former Australian internationals Jason Van Blerk, Alistair Edwards and Dave Mitchell all played for Millwall. I believe they all, or certainly Alistair and Mitch played in the FA Cup for Millwall as well.
Yeah.
And, Kevin Muscat to lead them out tonight. What a great occasion for Muskie, a current Socceroo, of course. An amazing occasion for him and his family. He's a Melbourne boy, sunshine boy, and to lead out in one of the great occasions in world football is just a sensation for Muskie and for Australia.
Well, you all played in the FA Cup, of course, not in the final, but you did play in the Cup. What's the difference, Francis, in approaching a Cup match in England as opposed to a league match? Big difference?
Oh, it's a massive difference because the thing is, on the day, anything can happen. I played in a non-league, played for a non-league side against football league sides, and we frightened a lot of teams. We beat a couple of them, and it's a massive
How did you do it? How did you approach that?
Well, as I said, when you play against those players in the higher league, you tend to lift your game, and also sometimes when you're playing on these pitches that aren't as good as what you're normally used to playing on, it tends to equalise things. So.
Millwall.
It tends to equalise things,
Yeah.
so I think that I think people just lift their game, and sometimes all of a sudden the credentialed players find that they're having to fight and scrap for everything, and they hate that.
That will be a factor, Tom.
Yeah, indeed. And if you're not in the first division, or the second division, I think, the first 2 rounds, the big teams are not in it. So you've got to battle in the first 2 rounds, hope you get a big draw in the third. So it's very important. Very important. Every cup in the world has been modelled on the FA Cup, and it's tradition, steeped in tradition.
Well, not enough of them, because of course they have seeding systems in a lot of
now they have,
the
but
Western Cups.
this is special.
Like in this one, and this is a classic story, Craig, of the romance of the FA Cup.
That's a good point that you make, Les. And that is great to see the teams coming out, and that is your cups such as the old European Cup, now the Champions League. Of course, that's changed, and it's changed to favour the bigger sides in Europe. As you said correctly, this is one of the few remaining cups, or certainly most high profile in the world, where your smaller clubs, like your Millwalls and others, still have an opportunity to come to one of the greatest dates in the football world calendar, the FA Cup final. So it is sensational. As Francis said at the start of the show, that is the true romance of this cup. It continues today, and long may it continue.
If you remember, though, we're saying about Manchester United going to win and everything tonight. Manchester United just about ruined the FA Cup when they pulled out of it and went and played in that Mickey Mouse tournament. Remember that?
The World Club Championship. That's right. And they got humiliated there.
Yes, they did.
Yes. So that was a pretty silly thing to do. Sven-Göran Eriksson, as usual, is around, and he's He's going to be one of the dignitaries to shake hands with the players. We don't see that too often nowadays in football, dignitaries shaking hands with players, but it is a traditional in the cup final. The captain introduces the dignitaries to the extent that they are dignitaries in each case.
Dignitaries are few and far between nowadays, isn't it?
And in this case, I don't think too many of the fans think that Sven Uram is a dignitary because he's getting booed. By the way, the referee today is Jeff Winter. And
this is his last game, Les.
This is his last game. He's 48, which is the cut-off age for referees. So you and I, Tom, have a few years to go.
Yes, definitely.
Kevin Muscat.
Kevin Muscat will never be a referee. But good to see him on the field.
That's fantastic to see him on the field.
He was unlucky in that semi-final.
You know, Les, when Wembley was knocked down and they're rebuilding it, everybody said, oh, the FA Cup final is not going to be the same. This has been marvellous, the Millennium Stadium. The FA Cup finals at Millennium Stadium have been absolutely brilliant.
Well, it is better than Wembley, the old Wembley, of course. The new Wembley will be, by all intents and purposes, a superb stadium, but it's a much far better venue.
Yeah. Wonderful.
In fact, it was Giggs said this week, didn't he, that he didn't like the pitch, he didn't like the surface at Wembley. They used to leave the grass long. It was often, obviously, a hot day and so on, and it wasn't good for the dribblers of the ball, he said. So he's most pleased that the finals are held here now.
All right, let's go to the anthem, and then our commentators will be Martin Tyler and Andy Gray.
Season. Millwall in the FA Cup final. Good luck to them and to Manchester United, and
ladies and gentlemen,
let's have a look at the team lineups for you. Roy Keane, Manchester United's last piece in the final jigsaw, and at the end of a season in which there has been a lot of emphasis on giving Manchester United a more youthful look, 20-year-old Darren Fletcher stays in the side alongside 19-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, so it is Keane for Phil Neville. The other main issue for Sir Alex was the goalkeeper. Roy Carroll played so well in the semi-final, but since then United have reverted back to Tim Howard, who's got the nod today. There is a possibility, if United are doing well, you might see Carroll later in the day in the manner of Martin Keown's appearances in recent Premiership games for Arsenal. In some ways, Millwall still counting the cost of victory in the semi-final. Kevin Muscat's got a long-term injury. The captaincy has passed via Neil Harris to Matt Lawrence. Dennis Wise, as Andy was saying, he's missed half of Millwall's programme since Old Trafford, and of course has been in Italy for the most intensive treatment on a calf problem. And Danny Dicchio is suspended, so 19-year-old Marvin Elliott starts an FA Cup tie for the first time in the final itself, and out of position at right back. Peter Sweeney, slightly more experienced but 10 days younger than Elliott, will operate on the left. And number 11, Curtis Weston, who's played 26 minutes of first team football, if he comes on, he'll be the youngest player ever at 17 in 120 days to grace the final of this competition. And I mean ever.
Well, for the last couple of weeks, Sir Alex has shown his hand with regards to cup final formation, not necessarily players, because Fletcher is the big surprise. His recent form has twisted his manager's arm, quite literally, and Phil Neville has suffered because of it. We have the formation like that, but yeah, I do expect that Ronaldo and Giggs will start the game, I think, really high up the pitch and really try and take the initiative away from Millwall and go at them. And then you'll see the three in midfield of Fletcher, Keane and Scholes. They will all interchange. They will all try to use what they would have hoped might have been a numerical advantage, but we'll see in a minute with the Millwall side it won't be. But they'll use their experience and try and work the ball through that area to one up top and Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Mr. Jeff Winter.
Well, for Millwall, normally with Dickie will fit it would be 4-4-2. Quite simple. They've had to change it, and I think wisely. They haven't gone for another front man. They've gone to strengthen that midfield area. Because I think had they gone in with 4, they would have been outpassed. Big players for them. The two we've got on the right-hand side, Paul Eiffel up here and Tim Cahill. Those are the two that I expect from midfield to give the biggest threat to Manchester United. And you mentioned 19-year-old Peter Sweeney and 19-year-old Marvin Elliott, Martin. Well, what a job they've got. Sweeney to protect the fullback Robbie Ryan here against Ronaldo, and we've got Marvin Elliott at 19 against one of the best players the Premiership's produced in Ryan Giggs.
I'm not sure how long Dennis Wise will play in this game. They've really pushed it to the limits, the medical advice, the treatment, but you can watch him in the early minutes via the player cam if you're a Sky Digital viewer, of course, via the red button on the remote.
Little worry, just half before the game. Dennis didn't come out and warm up as normally he would have done, which suggests that he is still bothered with the injury. He's probably had a couple of jabs or so into it to freeze it, to null it. And at 37, and probably his last cup final, I think he was prepared to take this chance. He's too important for his team.
Millwall, originally founded by a firm of marmalade manufacturers. We do feel they'll need a bit of jam today, but they're here. They haven't played a Premiership side in this cup run, which has obviously helped their progress. And now they are face to face with the true reality of the higher level, the most successful FA Cup team of all time. 10 victories in the bag. It would be a unique FA Cup 11 for Manchester United with success today. Ruud van Nistelrooy, who scored here on his official debut for Manchester United in the Community Shield, getting on for 3 years ago, but they lost that day. They haven't got the greatest record in this stadium. They did start their season in the Community Shield this time in Cardiff, won it on penalties against Arsenal. Millwall, the Lions, against the Giants of Manchester United. Matt Lawrence United come like a number of these Millwall players really from nowhere to be in a global spotlight for the next couple of hours. Robbie Ryan at left back. The Scot, Peter Sweeney, playing ahead of him.
Well, if anyone who hasn't seen much of Millwall wanted a little glimpse of what they're going to try and do, it's what I said. Look at that, from kick-off, it was pass, trying to get every player on the ball early, trying to give them a little touch, and that's the way they'll try and play. But it's what they can do, and what's more important is what they do when Manchester United have the ball.
Here's Sweeney. Millwall's semi-final support was sensational at a club whose name is synonymous with crowd violence and bigotry. The cup run has been a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get rid of the unacceptable face of the South London club. And I must say the initiative has come from the top, Theo Papitis, the chairman. And they're in an unusual position, Millwall, of being much loved today as the underdog. And of course, rightly or wrongly, we all know there is an anti-Manchester United faction, born of jealousy up and down the land. We can't be singing that "No One Loves Us" song that usually echoes around the den. Right, it could be his last game for the club. He's turned down an offer for a new contract, but it's only 1 year long. Been there 6 years. Wilkins, who has really been emphasising, they haven't played for 13 days, Millwall, been emphasising the need to keep the ball. Of course, it was a quality he had in abundance as a player. To give it away to Manchester United, he's been saying you might have to wait a long, long time to get it back.
Yeah, keep it in the right areas though. I think the back four have got to be ever so careful when they're passing it about across the face of the back four, that they're not sloppy with it or reckless.
Gary Neville. Already straying from the left-hand side. It's one of football's great myths that Ryan Giggs is an Englishman who reverted to the land of his fathers to play international football. He was born here in Cardiff.
Just a mistimed tackle there. Livermore trying to get the ball, eventually does so, but free kick's the right decision. Might see one or two of those. I wouldn't give too many away there, but you might see one or two of those in midfield early on, and Millwall try and break up the game a little.
What we will see as usual is Van Nistelrooy lurking in a position where he starts offside, then comes back, Scholes whips it in. The delay sometimes helps that Van Nistelrooy ploy.
It's a deliberate free kick, that, you know. People around the country are thinking, well, they just bump into each other. They don't. It's pretty much, I think, from Walter Smith. I remember him using it a lot. He used it in Scotland squads as well at times. What they try and do is, by bumping in, they try and get the defenders to shut off. But the front men know, and the people who are attacking know that the ball's coming straight back in.
There's Darren Fletcher. Great compliment to his recent performances that he's got a starting berth here. Darren Ward, Millwall's player of the season. Elliott, really a midfield player, and may end up playing there if Wise doesn't go the distance. And Dennis Wise loses out to Keane. Rather worryingly for Millwall. Ronaldo crosses, and header flies wide from Van Nistelrooy.
Well, that's just a little warning. Pass is good, but if you're sloppy with it, then United will pounce. And you could see how high up the pitch Ronaldo kept himself. He was there. No little step overs there. It was quickly just fed into the middle. And Nistelrooy on the move.
Nistelrooy, one of 7 of the Manchester United starting 11 who are appearing in an FA Cup final for the first time. And think of the experience that they have. Roy Keane and Ryan Giggs, 3 winners' medals. Gary Neville and Paul Scholes have 2 each. The other 7 are as new to this kind of atmosphere as the Millwall 10. Of course, the 11th is Wise, who could make more FA Cup history today. No player has won the competition with 3 different clubs. Wise, of course, has done it already with Wimbledon in circumstances a bit similar to this, and twice as captain of Chelsea. Lawrence, a studious man on the field and off it. Headed by Livermore. Harris trying to get down to business. Paul Ifill, who didn't last too long in the semi-final, but made an imprint on it, setting up the only goal for Cahill. Fletcher plays with his head up and looking to spot a pass. There wasn't one as far forward as he might have wanted. It went short to Ronaldo. And now Scholes. Now Fletcher looks to lengthen the range of his game, but just John O'Shea a bit concerned about Ifill. Jeff Winter has blown in. Sure, Manchester United's favour, he's given it.
Well, I don't understand what Ifill's done wrong there, I have to say. He's fouled twice, 3 times before he even tries to get him out of the way.
Here's Gary Neville. Fletcher seeing plenty of the ball early on. Brown. Silvestre, who missed out with France against Brazil on Thursday because of this. Scholes keeps making a run across the edge of the area from the left-hand side. Millwall quite happy to trade space, but they can't back off too deep. Here was a bit late. United kept the ball. Fletcher, Ryan can see that off.
Well, we might just see quite a bit of that in the match. With you, Manchester United, Alex Ferguson's side having possession 35-40 yards from goal, and everybody, sometimes even Neil Harris, but everybody else back behind the ball, particularly centrally, and I think they'll might just allow it to go wide if anywhere, but they won't want it being fed through them.
Messrs Wise and Wilkins watched that Chelsea game at Old Trafford when Eidur Johnson played up front on his own and there was a posse of midfield players. It worked very well for a team in blue that day. And incidentally, Andy, you'll be pleased to know that blue and white from Millwall, when they were founded, there were a lot of Scots in the South London area. It was out of respect for the colours of St Andrews.
Come on, the boys in. They should have told me that earlier.
Silvestre. Keane. Scholes, settler of the semi-final, and also that third round game when they were behind at Park as well to Aston Villa. He's made a big contribution, as usual, to the move towards silverware, as they hope it will be for Manchester United. Fletcher. Ronaldo. And left on the ground. And what about that for a cross? Oh, but the surprising thing at the end of it was that Paul Scholes got his timing all wrong.
Well, that's ridiculous from Ronaldo.
Giggs, should be Marshall's ball.
That's a 4-0 Cup 1 trick. Not 9 minutes in. Ridiculous. But what a chance for Paul Scholes. Anyone you would have wanted on that Manchester United, it surely would have been him.
It's almost as if he was bamboozled, as poor Robbie Ryan was for Millwall. Brown. Just been feeling he's been getting his game back together. He's had to listen to Sven-Göran Eriksson say, England's shortage of centre-backs, that Wes Brown isn't quite the player that he was before his injuries. I'm sure that will come. Keane. Give Elliott a little boost. Just had a cluster of games at right back recently. They had problems. Alan Dunn, who's one of the substitutes, was the first choice when Muscat got injured in the semi, was out for the season and beyond. Scholes.
Worth it. Just got to break up the game a little, I feel, Millwall. Whether it's by conceding a couple of free kicks, stop Manchester United finding their rhythm, because they are. But this is a strike, this is ridiculous. And amazing that the pace he gets on the cross. Oh, it's just a little unlucky. And I think that's to do with the pitch. We were on it earlier, Teddy Sheringham and I with Richard, and it's a little long, very dry and a bit sticky, and that showed when that ball didn't quite set up the way Scholes wanted it to.
I felt
just off.
Neil Harris. Somehow grateful for the work. He hasn't seen much of the ball yet.
No, he will be happy with this. He's just off. I mean, Wes Brown takes a chance stepping out as he does. He got the decision.
A year ago, Andy, we saw Southampton really come out with something similar tactically. Premiership club they certainly are, but they were big underdogs against Arsenal. The problem comes if you go behind,
yes,
as they did.
Particularly early on. But I can't believe that Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins wouldn't have discussed that with the players. That should we concede a goal in the opening 20 minutes, this is what will happen.
Ryan. Could have gone either way. It's gone against Millwall again. Tim Cahill has spoken out about it. He's a player with quite a lengthy disciplinary record. He's going to start next season with a 3-game suspension. Just managed to juggle the bookings around and a red card since the semi-final, so that he didn't miss the final, unlike Danny Dicchio, whom we must spare a thought of sympathy. Suspended today, the day. O'Shea. Giggs pushing it back, almost got it back the second time. It's very good tracking back by Paul Eiffel.
Yeah, he'll obviously want to go the other way. He'd love to be able to do that against John O'Shea and be doing that in the other penalty area. But this is offside. Looking at you now, watch Wes Brown. I mean, I'm not so sure he is offside when he heads this, but he starts to go, and as he's heading it, it's one of those that you're always going to get 9 times out of 10 as a defender as soon as you cross like that. But you're taking a risk.
Well, Millwall have relaunched the career of Andy Marshall, but he's only on a short-term contract with the South London club. Negotiations, both parties hope, will take place after the final is done and dusted. And Gary Neville knows Andy Marshall. They were in the same England youth set up together. Paul Scholes as well, Nicky Butt comes from that age group. Well, that little, I suppose, show of over-ambition by Manchester United. It's just the sort of thing that will encourage Millwall and their supporters. Elliott with a throw. Fletcher gets in the way. Scholes.
That's a good ball.
It's Harris. Seen out of harm's way by Silvestre. But it's been well documented, the serious illness that Neil Harris has survived to get back into football with Millwall. Scored nearly 100 goals for the club. On the side of the treatment for cancer. Ronaldo. Fletcher. Stand forward by Keane. Lawrence was tight on Van Nistelrooy. Silvestre taking it down. Giggs. Manchester United have been here since Wednesday. Ronaldo. Millwall came a day later. And their players came for a look around the Millennium Stadium yesterday. Manchester United chose not to. It just didn't work with their training schedule.
No. They've been here before.
Keane. Marshall comes out and Giggs. To be fair to Ryan Giggs, he was only trying to get the ball past the goalkeeper and follow it in a position where maybe players of less integrity might have tried to involve some contact with the goalkeeper.
Marvin Elliott just gets caught there. Doesn't know whether to take Ronaldo, doesn't know whether to take Giggs. He's honest as the day's long, Ryan Giggs, but we should expect that from him. Andy Masters caught a little here, and the only thing is, Ryan Giggs will be a little disappointed with the heaviness of his touch. Goalkeeper definitely committed himself.
Marshall, one of 3 different goalkeepers Millwall have used in this cup run. His choice, Tony Warner, has had a wretched time with injury. And to be fair to Millwall, they'll point out that they've virtually got a full team of absentees today. Not all of those would be first choice. Well, Ward's left it run and Lawrence helped him out because, again, that point you were making, Andy, the ball held up.
Just sticks. It doesn't skip through off the surface. Deal with it. He just head the thing clear.
In the end, Matt Lawrence did deal with it, and it was a good job for Millwall that he did. Wise.
That's the kind of ball that you want to force Manchester United into playing for Millwall. You want Ward and Lawrence to be dealing with that. You'd expect them to be heading them clear. Not ducking under it. Isn't going to go through.
There is Lawrence, and he's fouled by Scholes, who we should point out is a little fortunate to be playing this FA Cup final.
Yeah, he is. Which might just well mark him down as the match winner. I tell you, it's amazing how it happens. Let's just see it. A typical Scholes challenge we've come to see over the years. Missed time, but no real malice in it.
And Scholes is spared a second yellow card by Steve Bennett against Chelsea, which would have rendered him out of today. But he's here, he's ahead of Giggs. Oh, and he wasn't looking at Giggs, he turned his back, but still got the ball and got the throw in the end off Lawrence.
Well, no one should be surprised that United are dominating possession the opening 20 minutes or so of this match, and Millwall are quite happy to concede ground and allow them to do that.
Well, the onus on Manchester United to force the pace here. Plenty of the ball, but not too often in areas that have looked like hurting their Division 1 opponents. Not yet. Silvestre. O'Shea. Van Nistelrooy. A bit of leaning in, maybe, using his body strength, and Scholes arriving. It was a very un-Manchester United piece of play, really. It was untidy. It was almost just strummed down around Van Nistelrooy.
He actually worked the initial part of it quite well at the Van Nistelrooy edge of the box. That's where you want him, backing into the penalty area. Ball at his feet, looking for runners off him or trying to turn himself.
Keane is now the subject of the player cam for Sky Digital viewers. Sweeney with the free kick. And Silvestre, just a little slip at the wrong moment for Harris.
There was decent ball in, first real threat from Millwall.
It's a quick free kick that made it for Cahill the chance to cross. Ronaldo, first player from Portugal to play an FA Cup final, and looking to make a lasting memory. And there's a little bit of a tangle with Dennis Wise involved.
I don't know why Fletcher's getting involved. All of a sudden the young lad took exception to something he saw, or he thought he saw.
Yeah, well, Darren Fletcher's sent off, of course, last Saturday for the second time this season. Jeff Winter getting his message across with gestures.
Well, there'll be all sorts going on. Dennis Wise will be indicating to Jeff Winter, trying to influence him, saying, well, he's diving again, ref. You've got to keep your eye on that. That's what he's indicating. Fletcher obviously saw it indicate, looked like he was indicating he saw somebody stand on, whether it was Ronaldo or one of his other teammates.
Gary Neville giving him some representation there with Jeff Winter.
Well, I think that's probably what he saw. Going to ground.
Attention please, attention please. Can I ask all spectators
to
please sit down?
comics hadn't invented the character Dennis the Menace, football would have done, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if they fancy hitting it, but I would. Not me personally, but I'd make sure the teammates hit that, because he's not had a lot to do with the goalkeeper.
Ronaldo with his right of reply. It was a shot, but Silvestre, who was just following in, wasn't too far away from the defender.
Well, if he'd have pulled it another couple of yards, it would have been an interesting decision for the linesman to have given. Doesn't really get the right direction in that. The centre-back wasn't far away from it.
He is finishing at the top, Jeff Winter. It's been a distinguished career for today's official. It's nicely won back to Manchester United by the energy levels of Fletcher and his perception, recognising the opportunity, and a brilliant contribution with the back heel, Giggs. And it's an awkward moment for David Livermore.
Well, they just get stretched for the first time, but it's lovely football. 3 players attracted to the ball. And I'll tell you what, he's arriving right on cue. Scholes yet again, as that ball hasn't been cut out.
Now Van Nistelrooy is looking at Andy Marshall face on, and it's irritating the goalkeeper, and Matt Lawrence has gone in there to try and help Marshall out.
Well, the referee's gone in as well. He's going to have a little word. I'm not so sure what anyone's complaining about. Van Nistelrooy, as far as I can see, is entitled to stand whatever he likes. If he gives a free kick away, so be it. But what is wrong with him moving in front of the goalkeeper? Absolutely nothing.
What Marshall didn't like is he wasn't looking at the ball at all, he was looking away, and now Jeff Winter, with perhaps an air of diplomacy, has given Millwall a free kick. But it's something you don't see very often, Andy, do you?
No.
I mean, in standing in front of the goalkeeper and looking at the ball is one thing, but he wanted to get in his face like that.
I mean, I still don't see what the offence is. I really don't.
And the first task for Millwall was to not be out of this final before they're really into it, and they've achieved that, just coming up to the halfway mark in the first half. Not play with any great ambition, but they have played with admirable tactical nous.
Well, they've been organised, they've been fairly disciplined. Manchester United have mainly threatened when they've been counter-attacking, but the Millwall have got themselves a little stretched.
Giggs can't get past the leggy Elliott, who then loses his footing. And O'Shea. Keane needs 1 goal for 50 for Manchester United, and but for a tremendous stop by Andy Marshall, would have had it in an FA Cup final.
Now there you go, the full-back Marvin Elliott. I talked about there's times to play and times not to play. He overplays way in his own corner. United win the ball back. We talked about the goalkeeper, who said he at some time will make a big save to keep Millwall in it. He's just done that. Great effort from Keane.
Still the pressure on Millwall in terms chance of a Manchester United corner. Sylvester going towards the near post. Cahill took a bit of a climb. Giggs really smacking it back across. Keane. O'Shea. Van Nistelrooy. Ronaldo rather, who's now turning. Van Nistelrooy's coming in at the far post, and the decision is a corner. And Millwall are in a sticky spell, really still, since Marvin Elliott got caught down by the corner where Ronaldo's going to spot up this corner kick.
First real moment I could say on this for Millwall.
Harris gets some distance to it after the chest from Eiffel. Incidentally, it's a brand new design of football today with 124 names of clubs woven into the fabric of it. 124 teams that qualified for the FA Cup competition proper. And these are the two that have moved on into the glamour, into the glory.
Yeah, there's caution in certainly Millwall's play, and you can understand that. I'm not about to sit here and criticise him for that. But this is the effort from Keane. Now the ball sits up, you can see him quite deliberately just nudge that into the air because he knows what he wants to do. He wants to volley it, he wants to aim, to get some height and then dip it over the goalkeeper. And he comes very, very close to achieving it all. Super save.
It's Marshall who takes the free kick here. Ward. Booted away by Sylvestre. And Nistelrooy has just started to get a bit of form back in the last couple of Premiership games in which he scored. Livermore didn't make the grade at Arsenal. Millwall paid £30,000.
It's not a good kick, that.
Ryan. Sweeney. Should have been linking up with Scotland's under-21 party. He goes there tomorrow. He crosses here in towards Eiffel. With Sylvester at his back. He's not appealing for anything. And as Andy says, Millwall have got a corner.
You know, you just wonder, somebody with a natural left foot might have swung at this. You can see how he wanted to control the ball. He's naturally right-footed. And I think when you're that close in a game like this, if it's bouncing like that, just have a swing at it. Hook it with your left foot, you just don't know.
In their first FA Cup final, it's their first corner.
And Manchester United a little sloppy in getting out to deal with that.
Sweeney.
Flag down. That's another corner. Well, Darren Ward's at the back post on that, and he probably scores, you know. They really didn't get out and deal with it, Manchester United. Then they just go to sleep. Everyone's dragged towards the ball. Flag stayed down, didn't go. Linesman wasn't interested in offside at all. This won't do them any harm, Millwall. A little bit of pressure of their own. Roy Keane just gesturing Van Nistelrooy back this time, so that they don't get caught. 2v1 at the corner.
Sweeney takes it. Howard is able to find space to grab it. Ryan. Manchester United were trying to orchestrate a counter-attack, and now they've got to turn and defend again against Eiffel and Harris. That's too long for Paul Eiffel.
But that's, I mean, the trio of players, Eiffel, Harris, Cahill, those are the three that Ray Wilkins and Dennis Wise would be certainly are saying, you know, if we're going to get a goal, well, one of you three is most likely to get it in open play. Because they're I think they're the most talented, the most dangerous ones that they've got.
Nistelrooy probably fouled Lawrence then, just went to trying to play an advantage. With Millwall and their passing ethic, then it is an advantage that people it's a bit high from Wise. The ball was off the ground though.
Dennis Wise wants a free kick. That's where he's having a little chip at the referee. It's high from both Scholes and Wise were feet up to win the ball.
Ronaldo again crossing early.
Just don't overdo it.
Ryan heard your words. Time for a bit of common sense at the end. But we all know it's been a very difficult season for Manchester United. All the pressure here is on the Premiership club that only finished third in the Premiership, lost 9 league games, way below expectations that, and been some other difficulties. The Rio Ferdinand affair, of course, Sir Alec falling out with his horse racing friends.
Disappointment. It's a good ball up to Tim Cahill. He's just started to wander a little bit, Cahill. I think that would be part of the plan as they bedded into the game, because Harris does need a bit of support. Cahill's the one who you think is going to offer it from centrally.
It's a long and fairly straightforward ball for Millwall to deal with from Gary Neville.
You can see how it's not running out again, is it, Martin? You know, any ball played over the top now isn't a bad ball, because it's just going to stick. Its first bounce. It's going to be pretty fierce and it's going to go out.
Wise. Definitely playing within himself. If you would have said to Dennis Wise last night, you'll get through the first half an hour, I think he'd have taken it. Because there was real concern. Giggs. And Nistelrooy. Confusion with Ryan. I think he wanted some help from the goalkeeper. Ronaldo. And help Millwall get in the end is that the shot hits the side netting.
He did nothing in the end, Ronaldo. That's his disappointment. That Ryan doesn't really deal with this. A little bit of confusion once it's up in the air like that. Son obviously playing a part. Really troubled the full-back. He does nothing in the end. You see Giggs is just, as it comes down and lays this, when Ryan Giggs starts to make a run from the edge of the box, I don't think Ronaldo sees him. But it's a poor effort in the end.
Just one previous cup tie between these two, a third-round match at the Old End back in 1953. Manchester United won that right at the end, 1-0 with a goal from Stan Pearson. Now times have changed. Keane. Neville. Van Nistelrooy. Ward's played against United before a couple of times in his Watford days. Livermore just forced himself in front of Keane cleverly. Lawrence.
Yeah, just cut that. Decent idea. Harris made the run forward, trying to stretch it a little.
Cam switching to Neil Harris, Millwall, Sky Digital viewers. By their own admission, have been pretty appalling since the semi-final. Only one of 8 games. Giggs.
He wants a handball. He immediately claimed for it. Would have been harsh. Might have struck the arm of Marvin earlier. But he's just going over Ryan Giggs and he's just having a word with Jeff Winter. I just get the feeling there might have been a bit of intent in his block.
Ronaldo to take the corner. Oh, it comes to Scholes, and so far the player who has really been crucial to this FA Cup run for Manchester United just hasn't found the range from what, 3 attempts now.
Yeah, you can't give him too many opportunities. Now, tells a little story. Not quite all of it, but it tells a story. Only the one on target, that fantastic save from that Roy Keane effort.
Yeah, it's such a compliment to Sir Alex Ferguson in the 18th year now as manager of Manchester United. They've never lost an FA Cup tie to a club from a lower division. Ronnie Wilkins, of course, played for Manchester United and won the FA Cup just prior to Sir Alex's arrival in the earlier 80s. Keane. Fletcher. Now Scholes. Manchester United trying to make the most of the favourite tag here. Millwall paying them respect of backing off, congesting and trying to create plenty of situations like that where an opponent might even be heard to say, well, have a shot, so the odds are against you.
Yeah, not a great effort, but it's almost like a practice setup, you know, attack against defence. That's the way Millwall have started the game, prepared to drop deep, give possession away, let United have the ball and say, go on then, you're the favourites, you're supposed to have the better players, let's see if you can play your way through us.
Walter Smith, of course, it was Walter sitting with Sir Alex there.
I just think at some time they'll open them up again.
Well, if there's a surprising element about this FA Cup final, Millwall, of course, how about this, the Champions League final, Monaco against Porto. Sky Sports 1, join us from 6 o'clock.
Now it's in areas like this, if you're spending all your time working on the training ground and defending, then you must then make good use of your set plays. And what's important when this ball goes in is to make sure that you got this surrounded, that if it comes back out again, that one of your players is picking it up. Like this ball here, just like that, that's better. Keeping the play going.
I feel. And he get a cross in here for Millwall. And it was Harris, it almost dropped for Peter Sweeney. Just for the record, that passage of play did start when there were a couple of stewards on the pitch for reasons that I don't need to go into very deeply.
There's always one in there.
Neville. Ronaldo. Now O'Shea. He's got plenty of attacking ambitions from left back. So I feel to keep an eye on. Lawrence. Ryan made a bit of a meal of defending then.
Yeah, just once or twice. I mean, it's admirable that they want to play all the time, but as I've said again, you just can't do it all the time. There are some situations where you just have to put your foot through it.
Cahill. There's plenty of family here over from Australia. He's been talking about the great thrill he got when Craig Johnston, of course, from Australia, scored in the FA Cup final for Liverpool back in 1986. Ward. Sweeney still going strong, and then Neville chased by Cahill. Pressure applied a little further up the pitch by Millwall that time. It's Tim Cahill's 250th game for the club, and judging by the rumour mill, possibly be one of his last, because he is one of those Division 1 players being marked out as potential Premiership talent. And I feel there's another.
Yeah, he is another.
That sort of talent. He's left O'Shea. Harris trying to reposition in the middle. I feel decided to chance his arm, or his right foot to be totally accurate.
Well, he just tried to hit that through Sylvester in the end. First part was very, very good. He really didn't shift the ball enough when he got up against Sylvester. If he moves it half a yard to just alter Sylvester's position, and he's got a better chance. Or even if he gets at a cross goal, two teammates.
Sorry, Andy, Ryan Giggs was really annoyed there. There was a great chance to counter-attack. They got some space after this attack from Millwall.
They didn't make the move, but see, he's running in a straight line, you see, and he doesn't really shift the ball off of that track. He tries to really go through Sylvester. But that's what I feel would like to be doing, Morty John O'Shea, is running them that way. But it takes time. They bed themselves in. They haven't conceded an early goal. That would be uppermost in this plan of Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins.
Dennis Wise is almost in the back line. He's trying to keep track of Scholes. Lawrence was saying play it back to the goalkeeper, but Moore gave the captain the ball himself. O'Shea. Just be danger period this for Millwall. One or two players might be thinking, hang on, half-time might be approaching. We're still 0-0. So often at this stage of the game, the last 7 or 8 minutes of the first half, teams who've come to basically defend and hit on the break, they just get a bit more vulnerable. Manchester United tot up another corner. So Millwall need all their concentration, all their diligence. Plenty of time on the training ground.
I just wonder, Gary Neville just edged up there at the corner of the box. Don't quite see him, but he was showing an interest when
Keane trying to flick it on. Gary Neville's got the ball via Fletcher. Keane not really pressed, able to cross. So Shea had a swing at it. And no way out for Millwall because everyone had tracked back.
There's just numbers.
Real testing, 6 or 7 minutes left for the Division 1 team in this first half. They passed the previous test today, all with flying colours. They certainly passed. Scholes, he's trying to ease it forward. Lawrence got a piece of it, and they need him again. Matt Lawrence, who's only recently been switched to central defence. He was a right back. He was a right back on the way out of the club under the previous manager, Mark McGee. And of course, we'll be bringing Brighton to Cardiff shortly. Fletcher trying to disguise the pass, but it struck Cahill.
You're not going to run the whole length of the pitch on your own. That's the thing.
Unless you're Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
Keane. Giggs. And you can see the problem that Manchester United are having. They get so far, but no further. Eiffel. Stopped this time by O'Shea. Out by his fellow countrymen and soon to be reunited in the international squad, Roy Keane. So it's a side issue to the Keane story over the last few weeks. Ronaldo. So Cahill though. Wise. Only Kenny Dalglish and Glenn Hoddle, player managers before in an FA Cup final. Dennis Wise played in Glenn Hoddle's game and they lost 10 years ago to Manchester United 4-0. Keane was in the United team, of course, and Giggs survivors from that final. And it's Ronaldo, past Elliott, and it's squeezed off the line by Ward after Marshall had made a partial save.
Two big saves from the goalkeeper in this half, and a little bit of help from his mate in front of him. Gary Neville, that's as far as I've seen him forward in this match. He's not got an awful lot to aim at. The goalkeeper just did enough.
Scholes again. Oh, that's his best effort by far, and it was not far away.
You can't give him too many opportunities. He's too good. Well, this is a chance. He just opens himself up looking for the far corner. That's an important block. And an even more important covering back from Darren Ward.
And it remains Manchester United 0, Millwall 0. Not going to form or league status as yet. That would be frustrating for Sir Alex Ferguson. Keane. Seen plenty of the ball, Roy Keane, but not seeing plenty of teammates in advanced positions. They've got room in which to work.
Fullbacks might have to do a bit more if they stick with this formation, Manchester United. So Gary Neville produced the cross a little while ago.
It had to be properly timed.
Well, that must be. That's not a corner, because mean, the referee's taking the easy way out here.
On Fletcher.
Well, I don't think that Long's got anywhere near that.
Manchester United had a little protest and then quickly got on with the job. Half-time so close in the sanctuary of it for Millwall. Keane. Neville. Gary Neville's cross. Ronaldo! Well, you couldn't say it wasn't coming.
As I said, they might want the full-backs to get more involved, because I don't think they have been enough. But Neville did then. What a part he's played. They work the ball right across the face, but look at Gary Neville just edge of the screen, and Millwall don't really see him. No one picks him up. But watch Ronaldo. He started the widest of all the players, and it's just his movement. Standing, the Millwall players. It's probably Dennis Wise. He doesn't go and attack this cross. He's waiting and waiting. Ronaldo goes across the front of him. And really, if you get enough power in this and don't hit the goalkeeper, you'll score. Look at Wisey waiting. Fatal mistake.
Yes, it was young triumphing over old there. And at 19, Cristiano Ronaldo, by my reckoning, becomes the 4th youngest goal scorer in FA Cup final. There were two 18-year-olds, Norman Whiteside of Manchester United, of course, Johnny Sissons of West Ham, and Nicholas Anelka 6 years ago, slightly younger when he scored for Arsenal. And then you find now Cristiano Ronaldo's name up in lights. And Manchester United have been knocking at the Millwall door, have now found a way through it. And this period, really, the last 15 minutes or so of the first half, always looked potentially a vulnerable area, and that's the way it's turned out. I feel.
Well, the only good thing about the timing of the goal, it will give Messrs Wilkin and Wise very quickly some time to get in there and get organised and rechange things. Sometimes you lose a goal in the middle of a game and there's a lot of time to go. You can't really change things, it becomes impossible. At least they'll get the message over at half-time and what they want to do.
Only Liverpool in the last 10 FA Cup finals have won the cup having conceded a goal. And maybe the first to say they were a bit lucky.
Yeah, they were.
With the greatest respect to Michael Owen and Gerard Houlier's team. So Manchester United out to finish a season that has lacked a few flourishes with the flourish that the FA Cup can bring. And the first Portuguese player to grace such an occasion has made an imprint. At a damaging time to Millwall morale, potentially. And there are a few seconds remaining. There was only 1 minute up on the board. Is this going to add to Millwall's misery here? Jeff Winter's obviously going to let the free kick be taken. Added time to added time prior to half-time. That's why he's trying to get inside Paul Scholes' shirt.
Well, they better watch it, I tell you. Paul Scholes has got every right to question this, because there's marking and there's overstepping the mark. And that last incident, after he'd had a word with him, as Scholes went to make a run, Dennis had just grabbed him round the midriff, trying to haul him away. The only fortunate thing for Dennis Wise is the ball wasn't back in play.
There's still the Giggs free kick to come. There's still some jockeying going on, but finally Giggs does put it in, and the half-time whistle goes. And it, for much of the first half, was about Millwall defending capably against Manchester United's best efforts. It's ended really with irritation here, but United, with their frowns, should remember the reason to smile, which was Ronaldo's header. So late in the first half, it looked as though Dennis Wise and his team would get to the break at 0-0. That hasn't happened. A half-time score, Manchester United 1, Millwall 0.
A goal scored by Cristiano Ronaldo. 1-0 to Manchester United. It had been coming. It has come at a terrible time for Millwall, who had done so well for so long. But they trail in the FA Cup final. George Graham, Teddy Sheringham, Graham Souness are with us. Their thoughts when we come back.
Thank you, Simon. Nice to get the alternate view. Lose ugly is the word. There's Cristiano Ronaldo as the teams make their way out onto the pitch at the Millennium. 45 minutes still to go. Of course, if it's level, it will be 15 minutes each way of extra time and then straight to the penalties if there's no score. Let's go back to Martin Tyler and Andy Gray.
For London football, Crystal Palace and West Ham here next Saturday for the playoffs. Arsenal and Chelsea already confirmed in a unique top two in the Premiership. Fulham's highest placing in their entire history. Charlton's best for over 50 years. QPR promotion to Division 1. And Millwall, well, I suppose looking for the world of miracles now against the might of Manchester United, having conceded that goal to Cristiano Ronaldo so close to half-time. Somehow they have to find a more positive side to their game. They certainly have got a couple of players who can extricate themselves from this Millwall mess at the moment, with I feel being one of them.
Yeah, well, there's no change in the setup. The lads were debating in the studio, felt that they had to change. I wasn't so sure that they would straight away. I think they'll see 10 minutes of the game, second half, and then they might.
Fletcher's gone a long, long way here. It's a tremendous solo run by Darren Fletcher. Ryan Giggs-like, if you like.
If he had Ryan Giggs' left foot, he might have scored. He ends up prodding it with his right foot from the wrong sort of angle, but look where he's travelled from, pretty much the halfway line. And, well, they're token gestures, because once you get into the box, you really can't hang a leg out.
Giggs. I'm sure the message from the Manchester United management: go out, get the second goal, and get it signed, sealed and delivered.
Put the game to bed.
Giggs. Ronaldo.
If he'd have gone earlier, Gary Neville, now there's no reason why he can't go earlier, Martin, because he's got no concern with anything behind him. He's got his two centre-backs that are quite happy with Neil Harris between them.
And Ronaldo's gone chasing across, whether he was chastened by Gary Neville's remarks. But now he's having a word with the right back, as if to say, well, you could have done a bit more to help me.
Well, there's no doubt he could have done. You know, Sweeney and Livermore had gone to the ball, been attracted to Ronaldo. There was a huge gap that he rolled the ball into. Gary Neville just sat back. That's what I mean. I think that they're a little bit concerned with Shea and Gary Neville. I don't understand why, because if the wide players, Eiffel and Sweeney, are pushed that far back, then they should be able to, without worrying what's behind them, push as far forward as they want.
Ward and Cahill trying to juggle a way through. Elliott and early. Headed away by Silvestre. Key. I think you saw there, we're just recognising a moment, more players going forward. But of course they've got to get back on defensive duty just to stay in the game at 1-0.
Yeah, they'll throw a few forward at set plays like that.
Scholes. Giggs. And Jeff Winter might have just run out of patience with Dennis Wise here.
I think he will have done. Pretty certain this will be the first booking of the match for the Millwall boss. He's high against Ryan Giggs and a little late. He might have got away with that if he hadn't been involved so much. He's just got to be careful now.
He's 37 years old, Dennis Wise. He's been in the game for such a long time, and at his size you have to be able to look after yourself, but there are ways and there are ways. It's taken to management very naturally. He's not had 40 games in the job compared to what, something like 1,600 plus for Sir Alex Ferguson. It's a real mismatch in that sense. He's got the thrill of playing. And he's got Paul Scholes as his immediate opponent. Keep an eye on that, now that Wise has been booked in particular. Giggs has to go off to come on. And Silvestre takes the free kick. Ronaldo. Here's Livermore. And Harris, two of Millwall's longer-serving players.
Getting a hold of it.
Keane. He's been able to receive passes like that with a bit more freedom than Paul Scholes. That's the job that Wise is doing. Ronaldo. Keane. Step-overs, the brilliant footwork, and a left-footed shot from Gary Neville at the end of it. He's chipped in with a couple of Premiership goals at Old Trafford in the latter stages of the season. I think that was asking a bit much.
Yeah, you see at times why Sir Alex Ferguson raves about this boy. He often talks about the players made him sign him when they played over there in Portugal, and he terrorised Manchester United in the game, and the players were all saying what a talent he was, and he's just going to get, I think, better and better when he learns the job, and I think he's improved this season.
Well, it's his 40th game for Manchester United, 6 goals now, and a vast majority of those have come in the last 3 months.
But it's his other contribution, it's what he can do to create.
It's Harris, Michael trying to come up with a spot of number 7 magic in Millwall's colours. And I guess some people somewhere will make a bit out of the current Manchester United number 7 scoring a goal here in the first season after David Beckham's departure. I'm sure no one will be more delighted than David Beckham himself. Ward. And free kicks given against Eiffel for jumping into John O'Shea. Wilkins still barking the orders. Keane. Scholes was trying to make one of those moves to get the ball to feet, and Wise staying with him again, but this time Scholes has shaken him off, but not to Cahill. Difference is that Manchester United can almost meander around this part of the pitch now they are in front. Much of the first half 0-0, it was frustrating to them. O'Shea. Fletcher. Keane, who struck a brilliant shot in the first half. Scholes! Marshall parries, and Lawrence was first to it. Great defending by Matt Lawrence. That's when a goalkeeper needs
great football.
Teammates to be alert, but it was a good start by Andy Marshall.
They've worked that ball right across the pitch, Manchester United. Super play, and he only needs a yard or two, and again you're giving him too much time, too much space. He uses a defender to try and whip it round the keeper. It's a pretty good save again from Andy Marshall.
And you have to be pretty nippy to beat Van Nistelrooy to a loose ball, and Lawrence was. That's Ronaldo again.
Something we don't talk about, but what he has got is good spring. We've seen it on a few occasions. I know he scored with a header, but that was more about movement rather than his spring. But you've given him too many attempts at goal, Paul Scholes, but they worked the ball from left to right quite beautifully here. And he just half opens himself. There he's using the defender just to try and arrow it into that corner. It's an excellent save at the end of it.
Well, he scored the second goal 5 years ago in the FA Cup win over Newcastle at Wembley. And he was very close to repeating the feat here. Harris has been pretty firm with those Millwall forward challenges, and Harris and Ifill in particular have been penalised several times by Jeff Winter. O'Shea. Van Nistelrooy. He's got to the ball and shook Van Nistelrooy up in the process. Livermore. Drop one for Ifill. Interesting contest that. John O'Shea actually started in league football on loan at Bournemouth and played against Millwall, and Ifill actually scored for Bournemouth at the Den 4 years ago. Played by Keane. And Fletcher. They pick a route out of trouble here. Pressed by Elliott.
Yeah, just got to keep them in there. Starting to get one or two players forward. You notice that crossfield post from Livermore to Ifill. He was high up the pitch.
They haven't got an equal share of the tickets, the Millwall fans. You've read all about that, I'm sure, but they've got the capacity to certainly match Manchester United in terms of noise. Just feel they need something to trigger off their belief again, the supporters. They were stunned by the Ronaldo goal so close to half-time. Elliott saying, give it to me. And Marshall did just that. Cahill. Ifill. Back to Elliott again, to Wise. The controlled possession would help Millwall's belief. Such a big gap in the middle of Division 1, even though Manchester United disappointed to finish third in the Premiership. You'll remember the first team since the start of the Premiership era from outside of the Premiership to play in the FA Cup final. The financial void is vast. Lawrence going to take some initiative here, a give and a go. Goes on. Just run into Ifill's space, but he finds space elsewhere. Cahill, and Lawrence was on his way back.
Yeah.
And Elliott takes over. Wise, it's a bit more like it from Millwall. And out comes Howard. Just looked for a moment as though Ifill might get himself in front of the goalkeeper as the ball dropped.
Well, I think if he went for the ball higher, to meet it higher up, he would have got there in front of the goalkeeper.
And Jeff Winter given the no, he hasn't given the free kick.
No, he hasn't. That's a tough one. I always feel a little sorry for defenders when it's that close, because there is nothing you can do about it. There's nowhere to go if you're a defender, and I think the fact that Ryan Giggs played that about 25 yards in front of him might have just influenced the referee, but you usually get them, I have to say.
No hometown decision for the Welshman. Ronaldo, this is in Portugal's squad for Euro 2004 and has given a foretaste of the excitement to come in that tournament with his contribution here.
Yeah, he's been great, productive, has a goal. Not been a bad day for the young lad.
And for Sir Alex Ferguson, who's shown the faith not just in signing him but regularly playing him, and Fletcher as well. Talked about regeneration, building a new team. Nothing like getting some silverware in your hands as a youngster to let you know what Manchester United is all about. Ronaldo flies off Robbie Ryan for a corner.
Well, he's just attracting two players to him all the time. Again, Gary Neville, if he wants it, can get the ball time and time again as soon as it goes to Ronaldo.
Giggs to take the corner. Wes Brown, who's only scored once ever for Manchester United. making a late run. He stayed on the edge of the area. Now he's coming round the back is Brown. Trying to steer it back across the face of the goal, and he might yet do that. Sweeney trying to stop him. Cahill prepared to take a touch. Foul by Van Nistelrooy. And Van Nistelrooy's shorts were being tugged, but Jeff Winter called it all even, and it's a Millwall throw. Andy Marshall, really in both halves, has kept Millwall in it. 3 excellent saves. Keane, and still Manchester United search for the second. Keane comes out to Ronaldo. Thorn in Millwall's side, this side.
Well, he has the ability, we talk about Thierry Henry, the ability to run at such pace and have control of the football. I think this boy's got that ability too.
Nice turn by Fletcher. Pass was intercepted by Wise, and then Paul Scholes got a bit of the ball, and he jarred Wise in the process. But this is Eiffel.
Stood his ground well enough, John O'Shea.
Yes, I guess he was slightly vulnerable once Philip Neville was likely to lose a midfield spot as to whether he might have been deployed at left back. Ronaldo. And even when Ryan was in a position actually to deal with it, he was forced back and so uncomfortable. But Manchester United have gained another corner.
Well, he's hardly crossed the halfway line, Robbie Ryan, has he, for them? And neither has Marvin Elliott. The fullbacks have just been so preoccupied with what Ronaldo and Giggs are doing and where they are, even when they don't have the ball.
Ronaldo with the corner. Silvestre. Well, it was Dennis Wise who was right back on his line.
There was an injury there as well, and Robbie Ryan, I think, clearing it up as it just dropped ever so invitingly for Wes Brown. He was plunging in after it. He felt sure, oh, this is a goal. You just watch as Dennis Wise gets a head on that, but look at Wes Brown, in he goes. And Robbie Ryan just manages to get his foot on it. I don't think it's over. He gets there just in time. Brown thinks he's got a goal. All he's got is a cut in the top of his head.
Mikael Silvestre, of course, did get a goal here at Cardiff in the Community Shield right at the start of the season. But great work between them, between Wise and Ryan, to keep it at 1-0 and keep Millwall still with a chance. The problem for them is making an opportunity.
Yeah.
I just wonder where that's going to come from. They will, of course, I guess, loosen this attempt to strangle the game in midfield and get 1 or 2 players forward from that department. Eiffel's trying to do it on the far side. He's doing very little down the left.
Did we see a contested drop ball there? That one
collector's item.
Goodness me, what's going on in this game?
No wonder Jeff Winter's having to retire. Here's Roy Keane trying to measure the cross. Giggs to get there. It's tall and athletic, and Eiffel trying to run away from O'Shea. But he needs some help. And he gets it from Cahill, but again he's having to do his work in Millwall's own half. Eiffel, Cahill, they're roommates, great pals, and maybe between them they can find something here to change the face of this FA Cup final.
Oh, that's goalkeeper inviting him out. When you tower it up that height, even if it's 12 yards out. Neil Harris has had a little kick at the goalkeeper. I'd have just let that go. Why on earth bring it back just to give him a free kick when Ronaldo's got the ball at his feet and going forward into space?
Yes, it's penalised Manchester United more than Millwall.
It's just a little nick at him on the way past.
Neville. Ronaldo. Cahill is the player cam. Ryan Giggs on the run here. It's a great run.
Penalty.
And it's Livermore who fouls Giggs. And Jeff Winter had a pretty easy decision to make.
Well, he's struggling, Livermore, isn't he? As soon as he does that and goes to ground, you cannot go through a player like that. He might claim he's touched the ball, but he's gone through Ryan Giggs. Giggs does brilliantly because he gets his body between him and the ball. And now he says, go on then, tackle me if you dare. There he did. It's a penalty. No matter which way you look at it.
It's not been the greatest of season for Ruud van Nistelrooy from the penalty spot. He failed in a shootout on this ground in the Community Shield. Although Manchester United won the day. If this goes in, they'll surely win this day. And in it goes. Ruud van Nistelrooy rams in the penalty and reinforces Manchester United claims on the FA Cup today.
Well, how emphatic was that? He certainly didn't show any anxiety, did he? That he might not be quite at his best at the moment. But I tell you, it's funny how goals come along. Two in his last 2 games were a warning to Millwall that he might just get another today. Another he has. Simply, you don't save them when they're up that high. You do not save them. And I think you might know it's another one in the bag.
It's a strange FA Cup record in terms of goal scoring, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Every time he scored in the competition, he's gone on to score a second goal in the game. 10 goals prior to this, 5 doubles. Including, of course, this season against Manchester City in the 5th round and Fulham in the quarter-finals. Ryan. Well, now it's risk-taking for Millwall, but they, of course, in pushing more players forward, could be really put to the sword in the last quarter of this FA Cup final. But it's Harris. Cahill. Now Sweeney. Scholes gets the tackle in. First FA Cup final penalty for 10 years since Manchester United scored 2 against Chelsea and Dennis Wise. A case of deja vu for Dennis in terms of seeing the ball on the spot and him being on the wrong end of that decision for an FA Cup final referee. David Ellery, if memory serves me right, 10 years ago, and of course Eric Cantona did the job twice. He's getting mesmerised. Yes. Robbie Ryan.
He's had a tough time. He's been in good form, Cristiano Ronaldo recently, and he's brought that into the game today. The wide men have been important. Ronaldo with the first goal, Giggs with a fantastic run that got the penalty. So the 2 wide men have played the part from Manchester United so far. Their ability to roam as well, haven't just been stuck on the wide areas, but they've roamed the width of the pitch as well at times.
Neville. Silvestre. Well, it's very quiet around those who are wearing blue and white. And Manchester United able to relax, and that often encourages the accuracy in the passing as well. Keane to clip in towards Van Nistelrooy. Giggs, Millwall can't clear it. Roy Keane skips past Sweeney. Scholes. Heroic block by Wise.
Well, they are totally dominant at the moment. They're chasing shadows, Millwall.
Giggs. Scholes. And a good appreciation of the danger by Elliott. They haven't got a great deal on the bench, Millwall, to try and improve their prospects. Ronaldo.
One goal. I'll tell you what, a yard higher, Mark. And I think Paul Scholes is coming in behind Van Nistelrooy. Well, this is the incident. Look at this run from Giggs. Robbie Ryan, if he's not had Ronaldo, he's had Giggs running at him. He's had a torrid time, and he was left in Giggs' wake, and Livermore could do no more than just bring him down, and it's a pretty good penalty.
Well, when you get that sort of height, goalkeepers will tell you just can't reach them.
No,
the risk, of course, in trying to lift it is that you hit the bar or put it over the bar, but Ruud van Nistelrooy got the geometry absolutely spot on, and that was a pressure penalty in the circumstances for him, because well, it's only as recently as a couple of weeks ago he wasted a chance against Chelsea from the spot, didn't win that game, and always a risk at 1-0 that they might not have won this one, but I don't think there'll be any takers for Millwall's chances now. Clubs had met 13 times before, only one Millwall win, and 1 in 13 was about the odds many thought before the game.
Yeah.
Manchester United even a shorter price.
So keep ball session. Well, it was.
Harris, look how deep. He's the one forward.
Yeah.
Lawrence.
Well, there's two things. Yeah, the change and your risk. Maybe losing another couple, if that's the case, by trying to chase it a little bit and change the way you're playing. Or you accept it, you're beaten, but you don't want to be humiliated, so you keep the system the same as Southampton did last year, lost 2-0. At the moment, it's the latter. They're not changing it. They've got everybody, like now, behind the ball. Manchester United don't have to go searching for a goal. They'll just probe. A few tricks here and there.
Yes, Millwall need the wizard who supplies the magic of the FA Cup and all those spells. And all credit to the supporters, and we shouldn't forget the Millwall supporters. When you talked about fans from that part of South London prior to this season even, it would be with a certain amount of trepidation. Theo Pafitis, with his membership scheme, has weeded out so many of the troublemakers and got a fan base which I'm sure will widen by the publicity that the Cup has brought. And good luck to Millwall Football Club in winning that battle. But winning this battle against Manchester United was a tall order at the start, and it's gigantic now. Lawrence.
You just always felt if Millwall were going to win this game, they could only win it 1-0. I didn't think they could outscore Manchester United. Certainly didn't think they'd get many chances. You look through history, it tells you it's a pretty popular score for the underdog when they win 1-0.
Giggs.
He's played well today, Ryan Giggs. Not to talk about Ronaldo, obviously, his goal in that, but Ryan Giggs has a pretty effective game for Manchester United.
There will be more goals to come for Manchester United if they have the appetite. A little bit like Wednesday's UEFA Cup final, and Valencia got 2 in front against Marseille and didn't need to pursue further glories.
Well, they're just beginning to find their voice, the Millwall fans. I think they realise that the game's over and they'll be hugely disappointed. They're discussing what they might do. They're going to have to change it. I think that's a certainty. But how they do that, that's been the little debate.
If you look at the options on the bench, Mark McCammon, who is a striker, has just played 14 games for the club, only 7 this season because of a knee injury. Curtis Weston, who we mentioned right at the start, has only played 24 minutes of first-team football and would be the youngest FA Cup finalist if he gets on. Barry Cogan is a wide right player, 3 games for the club, all as a substitute.
So what you're seeing is they're struggling for subs a little bit.
Well, it's a big decision to take off a senior player. I mean, Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins have got together what senior players are left to make up this 11. They would love to have had Dicchio and his aerial ability.
That's been a big miss for them because the way they've played, it's not so much Dicchio's goals, but it's what he gives them and how he helps the other players, Harris, Cahill and Eiffel in particular.
Gary Neville has given offside.
Close, wasn't it? That was close. It's just starting to flow for them.
Well, they are going to make a double change.
You look at this, Martin, as this ball's played. I mean, that's... I tell you, that's one of those borderline ones that should have been allowed to go. I don't think he's offside. But they got the decision.
Well, Barry Cogan, who's been a substitute in 3 of the last 4 games in Division 1, his only 3 appearances, comes on for Robbie Ryan, who could be saying goodbye to Millwall. Still scope for negotiation, but he's turned down the contract on offer. David Livermore will go to left back, I would think. And, well, it's Neil Harris who's run and run, hardly getting many touches of the ball. And the giant figure of Smart McCammon, who's played here twice before, actually, for Brentford, but lost on both occasions. He had a big finish to last season, got himself a 2-year deal, but has missed most of this campaign.
Well, a change made, of course, but with 15 minutes left, might be too little, too late. But how they'd love to get at least a goal, wouldn't they? To give the supporters really something to remember the trip down here to.
Well, even a spell of pressure.
Yeah.
Keane, it's nicked from him by McCammon. That's a slip by O'Shea.
It's a handball, isn't it? Tried to play advantage. But when Roy Keane got the tackle in, he had to give the free kick.
I don't think there was much show of advantage, and certainly anyway Wise does get the free kick. Hogan. Now Scholes.
Fuller's got right up top, alongside McCammon as well. For the first time they have changed the system, 4 across the middle now, 2 up top.
It's going to ask a lot more of Dennis Wise in terms of mobility, and it's going to restrict Cahill to join forces with the attackers, but it's a chance that's got to be taken. Fletcher. Oh, and O'Shea wasn't sure what was behind him, and there's been a couple of moments where Manchester United have lost their concentration.
And that's all it's been, just losing the concentration. I think that Manchester United players are pretty confident this game's won. There's a bit of blood on the face of the skipper. Won't trouble him any.
Pretty easy ride for Tim Howard.
I was just trying to think, yeah, you read my mind, Mr. Tyler, so I'm wondering whether he's actually made a save.
Talked at the start about Sir Alex Ferguson suggesting that there might be a slightly sentimental substitution. Wise kicks the ball out because Van Nistelrooy's got a problem. So
he's
can be sporting.
Yeah, he's up goal. Well, he was sport because he's the one that got him.
Risky when you go for a ball like that when you're carrying a yellow card.
So Alex not giving the ball back yet. Nobody wants it.
The legends of the FA Cup certainly includes Alex Ferguson. 12 minutes or so away from being a winning manager in an FA Cup final team for a 5th time. Remember, no one else had done even 4. Nope, the referee went one way, then the other. Ryan Giggs, a winner in all United successes in the 90s, 94, 96, 99, played in the losing final of 95 as well. And Sir Bobby Charlton, who spans the generations, the Old Trafford club. And has been quoted in the papers today saying that Sir Alex Ferguson has a job at Manchester United for life. Scholes still chasing it down.
Yeah, he'd be wanting to go. I mean, he's just a born goal scorer, and he's in a cup final. He's playing against a side from the First Division. He knows that there must be a wonderful opportunity to get his name on the score sheet, to get a goal, another goal in a cup final.
It won't cross his mind at all that Sven-Göran Eriksson's up there in the stand thinking, suppose he don't get injured yet in the last 10 minutes. The cup's won. He's got an amazing attitude to playing, Paul Scholes. Here's Gary Neville, another, of course, the Sven squad. Fletcher. Ward won the header powerfully, only directing it to Roy Keane. For Manchester United through O'Shea. Giggs. Time for a few party pieces. Scholes. Lawrence wasn't sure. Ryan Giggs might have a goal for himself here, but he doesn't, because Ruud van Nistelrooy, he has done it again. It's 2 goals in an FA Cup game again for the 6th time for Ruud van Nistelrooy, and he's done it in the final.
How many times have we seen that finish from that man? In the end of again, Giggs, who I think's been the pick of United players. The lads in the studio might disagree, but I think he's been the pick. There's a question, is he offside? Is he ahead of the ball? Every chance he might have been, but once it arrives at him, there isn't any doubt he's going to finish this.
Manchester United goal scored by number 10, Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Well, he plays those percentages, Ruud van Nistelrooy. And when the flag stays down, you're off and celebrating. And especially when it takes you to 30 goals for the season. He's had to deal with speculation that Spain might be a next port of call.
Well,
goes McCammon.
I guess the only question remaining is, can he get himself a cup final hat-trick?
Slewed away by Neville. Livermore. By the head of Brown. Cahill fouled by Ronaldo.
They had a little spat with each other about 30 seconds ago, where Ronaldo and Cahill got involved, a little bit of verbals, and that was just a little bit of retribution there. It's a foul, no doubt of that.
Manchester United have got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Nicky Butt. With their tops off, ready to make a cameo appearance apiece. Scholes trying to be the charger here. Sweeney trying to hold him off. Oh, he's waiting for the right moment. I feel Scholes did his job, and was being fouled in the process by Peter Sweeney.
Well, you very, very rarely get a chance to move it and hit it in the game now without being pressure on you. They're delaying it a bit because Gary Neville's got a problem, I think.
And it is Roy Carroll, if you see in the background. I steered you towards that one. And that tells you what a 3-0 lead can do.
Yeah. Well, they're just waiting.
Make a hard manager.
Yeah.
A gracious.
Well, there was a
sentimental man.
There was a time a couple of months ago when it looked like Roy Carroll would be the cup final goalkeeper if they got there. And Tim Howard fought his way back in.
It's almost a reward for keeping that clean sheet in the semi-final, keeping Arsenal out as Roy Carroll did. So we've got to sort out who's coming off. We know Tim Howard will be one of them.
But she said, Alex, I say to Gary Neville, you want to come off, take your mind up, because he's making his substitutions.
Darren Fletcher's gone. Nicky Butt, who's not figured much recently, but of course is another member of the England squad. Ronaldo gets his own personal ovation. to allow Solskjaer on.
I suppose the unlucky one is Phil Neville.
Well, maybe that's why Gary didn't want to go. If Phil's not coming on.
Well, he might have done though, he said, I'll go off then.
So all three committed changes made in one go. And we had a goalkeeping substitution last season in the FA Cup final, of course. Anthony Niemi was injured and Paul Jones came on for Southampton. But there's no injury here. There's nothing that he's been asked to do that could possibly have injured him, Tim Howard. One of the quietest outings in FA Cup final for any goalkeeper.
Yeah, he might have done his back bending down to pick his towel up from behind the goal. That's about as far as it's gone, and it's probably the most active he's been.
Well, on we go. After that was all sorted out. And Wise.
But what we've seen here is what we all thought, that the gap is a big one between Millwall and Manchester United. Manchester United brought a pretty good passing game with them today.
He was more worried at 2:30 as to whether his horse was going to win, running at Haydock in the 2:30. And he hasn't had too much to be concerned about as the match has unfolded, in truth. Brown. They've had an extra gear in every department. And I understand that horse did win. He's had a pretty good day, the Manchester United manager. Well, I think at the time he was more confident about this team winning the match than the racehorse delivering the goods.
Yeah, I think we all knew, and we didn't know, but we all thought that if Manchester United turned up business-like, meaning business, that they would win.
Van Nistelrooy. Scholes didn't in the end want to hit it first time, as Van Nistelrooy was shaping to become only the fourth player ever to get a FA Cup final hat-trick. McCammon. That was an attempt to curl a shot or try and find Eichel with a cross.
Just arrived at Paul Scholes at the edge of the box a little awkwardly. I think it just sat kind of awkward. I think he wanted to hit it first time.
FA Cup final man of the match is Manchester United number 10.
Cardiff, the venue, of course, for the playoffs. Crystal Palace against West Ham next Saturday. Brighton against Bristol City Sunday. Huddersfield against Mansfield Monday. And you can see every kick of the ball on Sky Sports.
Well, the sponsors man of the match has been named. I don't agree with it, I have to say. Van Nistelrooy, obviously his 2 goals have influenced, but I think there have been better performances in red shirts than his.
Specifically?
Well, I think Giggs and Ronaldo for 2. Keane's bossed it, midfield, strode around like the player he is. Total control of everything.
Well, it's been perfect for Roy Keane to tempo the match.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He'd have struggled in playing on the other side, wouldn't he, having been short of action. He's not giving it up. Paul Eichel has done as well as anybody for Millwall. And it is the big question that really remains. Well, we are going to get a piece of history from Millwall. I was thinking of Van Nistelrooy and the hat-trick. Kogan. Wise. Livermore. Solskjaer having a hold of Wise. Quick free kick. Too quick. McCammon thought he was in for a moment of glory. But what is coming up now, sometimes you do sense history being made before your eyes. And Millwall are handing the baton from the senior member to the junior member, because Curtis Weston has only played 26 minutes in the last league game against Bradford at 17 years and 120 days old. You are seeing the arrival of the youngest ever player in an FA Cup final. From the youth team to the Millennium Stadium. In what will seem like 5 minutes. It hasn't been much more than that.
No.
Ward got a good touch. Ifill was nearly there. Well, he strove manfully, Dennis Wise, and his presence on the pitch was obviously important to his Millwall teammates, but it wasn't enough. Solskjaer, Scholes, Keane. And they matched that 4-0 of 10 years ago. Keane had a chance to do that.
He did, very much so. Still a hard taskmaster on himself, isn't he? Disappointment with the shot at the end. You'd think 3-0 and about to lift the trophy after these goals.
There will be 2 minutes of
We'll keep him happy. He wouldn't mind one himself. Ronaldo, and then a brace from this boy.
I guess Millwall fans would be saying, you know, did Livermore get a nick on the ball? Was Van Nistelrooy offside for the third goal? And you could debate both those points, but I don't think you can debate the justification of Manchester United very shortly going to collect the FA Cup. And many of you watching will say, well, so it should be. The richest club in the world. No club from as low as Millwall finished in Division 1 10th place has ever won the FA Cup in league football, although Tottenham fans would ask me to point out that they were a non-league club and they won the competition back in 1901. But today has panned out to be another chapter in the rich history of Manchester United in this competition.
It's lovely play. You see it in slow motion, the balance he's got, the little look, just feed it across. Mr. Roy does the rest. Well, you almost feel that the name could have been etched on the trophy quite some time ago in this match, couldn't it?
And perhaps history will remember this season in this competition as the semi-final being the crucial game. Winners of that match at Villa Park. Of course, it stopped Arsenal breaking a record. It would have been their 4th consecutive final. It's allowed Manchester United to equal another Arsenal record of playing the final for the 16th time. And Roy Keane still won't give it away. Ifill, who again deserves mention in dispatches for his persistence. But Keane has hurt himself, and Ifill's feeling it as well.
Just two players going in opposite directions, really, and just catching each other. It can be awkward. You see as he goes across him there, and he just hangs at the leg there, and it'll be the left knee, or he might have just opened his groin, Roy Keane here. You watch this, as it just, left knee goes out, just gets caught there. And lands quite hard on it as well.
5 years ago, and he went off after 9 minutes, and they still got up the stairs to collect the cup. It'll be about 9 minutes time, I guess, when all the paraphernalia are putting everything out, podium out. Be asked to do the job again. It's not quite as difficult here as it was at Wembley in terms of the climb. It's quite a record, isn't it? Second player to reach 6 finals, and the first was right in the formative years. Arthur Kinnaird, who became Lord Kinnaird, actually played 9 finals, 9 of the first 11, but there weren't many clubs competing for it then. Not the 640 or so that have been involved this time around. The Giants have been too strong for the Lions. Manchester United, FA Cup winners for the 11th time. They have extended their own record. They certainly extended Millwall here today. And Van Nistelrooy's 2 latest goals giving the scoreline probably a realistic look. Ray Wilkins and Dennis Wise had masterminded a plan that kept Millwall in it right until the last few moments before half-time, when Cristiano Ronaldo's header gave the expected tilt to the proceedings here, and Manchester United did not let it slip from that point. But let's not forget that simply reaching this occasion was a wonderful achievement for Millwall. Well, let's hear from some of the Manchester United players, starting with Ryan Giggs.
Ryan, many congratulations, your 4th winner's medal. How does this one compare to the others?
Yeah, this is brilliant. You know, we've had a disappointing season. It's been well documented. But to finish it off with probably the biggest game in the season is brilliant.
And does it mean that little bit more because you won an FA Cup medal here in Wales?
Yeah, especially to me, my family are here. You know, it's the place where I was born, so it's extra special, yeah.
It's one thing to be overwhelming favourites for a final, it's another to actually deliver it, but your performance was relentless today.
No, Millwall, first 40 minutes made it hard for us. You know, we had a lot of the ball, but they got men behind the ball. And once we got that first goal, we felt comfortable, but that was the hard bit, getting the first goal.
You were involved in some of the goals, no doubt in your mind that the second was a penalty?
Yeah, I think so. I just went through and I was just about to cross it, and my legs got taken, so I think so, yeah.
A year ago, Arsenal used the FA Cup as a platform for a championship winning season. Can United do the same now?
Yeah, I hope so. You know, we can go and half the lads enjoy themselves, rest. The other half will go Euro 2004. But you can go off a little bit happy now you know that we've won the FA Cup.
Well done, thank you very much.
And all sympathies to Millwall, who gave it their best shot. And a factor that really we must highlight again, the players who missed out today, like Kevin Muscat, who can barely make it up, injured in the semi-final. Danny Dicchio, who was suspended, of course. Tony Warner, the goalkeeper. But Dennis still manages a smile. And at this moment they won't be appreciating what a great achievement it was to reach the final, but I'm sure they will. Maybe even later tonight, when they reflect on being part of a global occasion. What about Curtis Weston?
Fabulous. I mean, there are things that all come out of the game, and you're right. And right at this particular moment in time, just disappointment, sadness around these players who feel probably that they haven't done themselves justice, and maybe they haven't in the way I've seen them play this season. But they were up against a very good side, and rightly can be proud. And
Neil Harris at the end, when he heard what Dennis Wise said.
Yeah, well, I mean, when the goal came in, you saw Dennis not go and meet it, and it was a bit strange. He obviously got the call that he had time, and that was a fatal error.
Up to collect their winners' medals and lift the cup for the 11th time. Please welcome.
This is a tribute to Jimmy Davis, the Manchester United player who was killed in a car crash right at the start of the season. So winners' medals for Manchester United. They're back in tune with the competition that they let down in the season after that previous win, which was 5 years ago to this very day. Paul Scholes played in that, of course. So did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But a colleague lost is being remembered on the day a trophy has been won. And well done, Manchester United, for that.
A few debutants there picking up the first FA Cup winners' medal. Amazing when you think of Manchester United, the success in the 90s in particular. A lot of players getting their first one, including him.
Official man of the match, Ruud van Nistelrooy. For Manchester United, overpowered in the Premiership, a little careless in the Champions League. They have been grateful for this day. The FA Cup back in the hands of its most successful club, Manchester United. Red is the winning colour in the FA Cup final again. And the Red Devils have done it against the club managed by the Little Devil, Dennis Wise. Favourites or not, the feeling's still the same.
Oh, you better believe it. And it's unique, make a note of it, everyone, because the ground is packed still. Don't often see that of a cup final, do you? But Millwall fans rightly waiting and applauding their own team.
Well, I venture to say for most of the Millwall fans, it's the first time they've been to an FA Cup final, not just the team, but there's individuals as well, and you want to see the whole pomp and ceremony. And the point I've made, Andy, we were at the quarter-final replay, the semi-final. This club is changing its image, and all credit to it, the efforts that have gone into it. Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins have played a part with creating a competitive team on the pitch. But they had work to do in making it a more pleasant place to visit, the new Den. And there are now plenty of people who want to watch Millwall and watch their progress from this big day with interest. We know what's expected of Manchester United. There'll be some in their camp who'll be saying, well, only the FA Cup. But remember, Arsenal were in this position a year ago.
Absolutely. And it's not only the FA Cup.
No, of course it is.
It's a proper contest. And it's important for Manchester United, I feel, with what's happened in the league and what's happened in the Champions League, that they convinced themselves that this was still a powerful, powerful club. And they had to do that by winning, and winning emphatically today, and they've done that.
Well, good.